Picture this: New York City, 1853. The skyline is starting to climb, but getting to the top floors is a real workout. Elevators, or hoisting platforms as they were called, existed, but they were terrifying. People crammed onto open platforms hauled up by a single rope, and everyone knew if that rope snapped, it was a one-way trip down. The fear was so real that these early elevators were almost exclusively used for hauling freight. No one in their right mind would risk their life for a convenient ride upstairs. This is where our story begins, not with an accident, but with a man determined to prevent one. His name was Elisha Otis. He wasn't a fancy inventor in a lab, he was a master mechanic, a hands-on guy from Vermont working in a bedstead factory in Yonkers, New York. The factory was expanding, moving to a new building, and they needed to lift heavy machinery to the upper floors. Otis was tasked with building a hoisting platform. But Otis was a thinker. He looked at the simple rope and pulley system and saw a death trap waiting to happen. He knew his coworkers would be just as scared as anyone else to use it. He couldn't just build another one of these contraptions in good conscience. He had to make it safe. So he got to work, tinkering in his spare time. His idea was revolutionary in its simplicity. He designed what he called a safety brake. It was a tough, wagon spring-like mechanism attached to the top of the elevator car. On either side of the elevator shaft, he installed ratchet bars, like long vertical saw blades with teeth pointing downwards. The hoisting rope was attached to the center of this spring. As long as the rope was taut, the tension pulled the spring flat, keeping its ends away from the ratchet bars. But, and here's the genius part, if the rope were to break, the tension would instantly release. The spring would snap back to its original shape, its ends shooting out and jamming into the teeth of the ratchet bars, stopping the platform in its tracks. It was brilliant. It was simple. It was, he hoped, foolproof. He installed his new safety hoister in the factory. It worked perfectly for moving equipment. But for Otis, this wasn't just about moving bed frames. He saw a bigger picture. He saw a future where people could ascend buildings without fear. He quit his job and started his own elevator company. But sales were slow. In fact, they were non-existent. In the first few months, he didn't sell a single one. People were still skeptical. The image of a falling elevator was just too powerful. His new company was on the brink of failure. Then, an opportunity came knocking. It was 1854, and New York was hosting the exhibition of the industry of all nations. A massive World's Fair held in a spectacular glass and iron building called the Crystal Palace. It was the perfect stage. The legendary showman P.T. Barnum, of circus fame, was involved in looking for exciting exhibits. Otis knew this was his one shot to change public perception. He spent his last few dollars to secure a space and build a dramatic demonstration. Inside the soaring central hall of the Crystal Palace, Otis erected an open elevator shaft. He would stand on the platform, hoist himself high above the crowd, and then have an assistant dramatically cut the single suspension rope with an axe. It was pure theater, and it was incredibly risky. If his invention failed, he wouldn't just be embarrassed. He would fall to his death in front of thousands of spectators. The day came. The crowd gathered, their eyes wide with a mix of curiosity and morbid anticipation. Otis ascended, the platform rising 40 feet into the air. He looked down at the sea of upturned faces. The hall fell silent. He gave the signal. An axeman on a platform above swung his axe, slicing clean through the thick rope. The crowd gasped. For a split second, the platform dropped, but only for an inch. Then, with a loud metallic clang, the safety brakes engaged, locking the platform securely in place. The crowd was stunned, then erupted into thunderous applause. Otis, calm and collected, doffed his top hat and announced to the cheering audience, "All safe, gentlemen. All safe." This single, brilliant publicity stunt changed everything. The story of Otis's safety hoisters spread like wildfire. Orders finally started pouring in. In 1857, the first Otis passenger elevator was installed in a 5-story department store in Manhattan. It was a luxurious wood-paneled room, complete with a cushioned seat and mirrors, powered by a steam engine in the basement. And people used it. The fear was gone, replaced by a sense of wonder and security. Now, here's the interesting twist in our story. It's a great first elevator accident that spurred all this innovation. Never actually happened. It was the fear asterisk of the accident, the universal and very rational terror of a falling platform that Elisha Otis conquered. He didn't react to a tragedy, proactively invented a solution to prevent one from ever occurring. His demonstration at the Crystal Palace wasn't a response to a disaster. It was a masterful piece of marketing designed to preemptively solve the public relations problem that plagued early elevators. Otis's invention didn't just make elevators safe, it made the modern city possible. Before the safety elevator, buildings were rarely taller than 6 stories. Who would rent an office or apartment on the 10th or 20th floor if you had to climb a mountain of stairs to get there? Architects could dream of skyscrapers, but they couldn't build them without a practical way to move people vertically. The safety elevator unlocked the sky. It fundamentally reshaped architecture, urban planning, and the way we live and work. Every time you step into an elevator today, you are stepping into the legacy of Elisha Otis. Modern elevators are, of course, far more complex. They have multiple steel cables, electromagnetic brakes, speed governors that trigger the safety brakes if the car moves too fast, shock absorbers at the bottom of the shaft. The safety system Otis invented is now just one of many redundant layers of protection. In fact, riding an elevator is one of the safest forms of transportation in the world, statistically safer than walking down the stairs. All thanks to a master mechanic who looked at a simple rope and thought, there has to be a better, safer way. He addressed the accident before it even had a chance to happen, and in doing so, he lifted the world up. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into the history of innovation. See you next time.